Smash him up, watch that move. Wind too swift, can't catch these dudes. Can't hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, 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 listen. This Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's peep the squad. Big Pat Shell and Dante the Dark Child. Drop the stats on them, drop the facts on them. Spur King, baby, let's get it on.
Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Eagles Talk, upon further review where we go over the Eagles' previous game in which they lost. They dropped to the New Orleans Saints this past Sunday. I'm still upset, but we got to go over it. We got to review it, and we got to get ready for the upcoming game on Sunday versus the New York Giants, in which our Philadelphia Eagles will be playing for the number one seed in the NFC. And if they drop this game, it's a big loss. They possibly lose the number one seed in the NFC and possibly the division if they do not win this game. Let me be very, very frank. I don't like to be the one that paints a picture of doom and gloom, but I do want to establish the seriousness of this game this week. This game means a lot to this team. I mean, we're not going to be bounced out of the playoffs if we lose this game. No, we may fall to the number 5 seed at the worst. A better scenario is if we lose, if we fall to the number 2 seed. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But what I mean, there's a lot of importance that rides on this game because we have seen our team falter in the last 2 weeks after being a very good team throughout the first 14 games of the season. 13-1 was our record before our MVP candidate quarterback went down. And hopefully we'll get him back this Sunday. But we were 13-1 with Jalen Hurts under the helm, and since he's been out, we're 0-2 with the last loss looking horrible, and it kind of scares me. So to me, it makes this game coming up on Sunday that more important. Not only that we win the game to secure the number 1 seed in the NFC East, but that we reestablish some of the continuity and the confidence that we had prior to Jalen Hurts going out. We need to have a feel-good game going into the bye for the playoffs, going into the playoffs period. We need to be on a better mentality, better frame of mind going into the playoffs than what we've seen, especially last week. We can't go into playoffs with that taste in our mouth. A loss against the Saints and the way we played, we cannot afford to go into the playoffs with that taste in our mouth. So this game will be very important. If Jalen Hurts plays this game, and I don't care if the Giants play their starters or not, it's still imperative that whoever steps on that field on Sunday needs to get smacked down by our Philadelphia Eagles, especially if they're being led by our MVP candidate, Jalen Hurts. What's up, Pat? Welcome, man. I am not only live from a location here, I am also with my brothers from the best fraternity in the world, Kappa Alpha Psi, as we celebrate our Founders Day. Happy Founders Day to the Nukes. Yo! Yes. So I'm with my brothers here, so it makes it even more special that I'm talking about my favorite football team, and I'm doing it amongst brothers here. Let me bring in our other co-host, and that's Nichelle. Nichelle, what's up? How are you?
Hey, Happy New Year.
I'm all right. How are you, Pat? How's everybody doing after that debacle on Sunday? Because I was so upset, as you can see. I was so upset that I had to come on Monday to hold a separate therapy session for all of us Eagles fans who were just blown away by what we saw on Sunday. How are you guys doing?
I'm much better than I was Sunday. Let's put it that way.
You're delayed.
I'm not hearing you guys. Nichelle,
Can you hear me? Can
Yeah,
you
I
hear
hear
me?
you. I don't hear
Yeah,
Pat.
I think Pat was a little delayed.
All right, go ahead. So how do you feel from coming off that loss on Sunday?
I mean, it was tough, and then to add in the craziness of Monday night, No, it was a lot to process. It was a lot to process. But I don't think I was in the doom and gloom camp. I definitely was not in the doom and gloom camp. We definitely have to regroup and we have to buckle down and get serious about where some of our gaps are, whether it be in coaching, whether it be this injury bug that hit us. You know, Gardner Johnson is coming back to practice this week, so there's a positive. We pretty much know that Jalen's going to play. So didn't wasn't happy with the loss, but it kind of proved my point that Minshew is not him. And that's just the reality of it. He's not him. Our defense did what they needed to do this week. I can't even really say much about that. They took 3rd and 30 and flipped it on their head, and they came right back and did what they needed to do for a backup quarterback to at least put up 20 points so we could win a game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I'm in the same camp what you said. I wasn't ready to jump and panic, and I think that was the biggest reason why I came on Monday, because I was listening to the media and Philadelphia sports talk, and there were some people that were really going overboard or overreacting to me. So I wanted to come on and kind of get the masses to calm down a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but it is. There were areas to be concerned about. I agree with that, but it's not time to panic just yet. You know what I'm saying? It's not time to panic. I don't like that taste that the Saints game left in my mouth. I don't want to go into the playoffs with that taste in my mouth, but I'm still high on this team. Come on. I mean, they had a brain fart. I'm talking about the brain trust of this team. The coaching staff had a brain fart on Sunday, especially the offensive side of the ball. I'm not mad at the defense. That first drive, yes, that was horrendous. We made Dalton look like Joe Montana out there, but they settled down after that. And if you only give up 13 points to any team, your offense put up enough points to pull that game out.
50. All we needed was 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, and we could have won that game.
2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? And on the coaches, yes, that's. Remember, I said we had these Similac coaches wet behind the ears of being in these big games and these big positions and playoff seating, on the line. That's where that greenness of our coaches comes out. Was that, they did not coach these boys up. Not just on Minshew, but also the how the receiver core was clicking. There was just a lot of miscommunication. So they didn't prepare this team well enough to go in. And it's weird because I felt like they were more prepared the week before. So it's not like they didn't have time together.
Yes, that's probably the most surprising thing, because against a better team such as the Dallas Cowturds,
we put up some points.
We put up points, and we played like we had urgency, and we played with energy, and they seemed to be motivated. And then we lay this big giant egg on Sunday, and I have to give the blame to the coaching staff. I mean, it just seemed like they just had a big brain fart, not knowing what to run with our backup quarterback, looking lost at times in the play calling.
The coaches and the QB can share this one. They can share this one equally, 50-50.
Equally, yeah, I'll give them that. Equally, they can share the blame for what happened on Sunday. And that's why I put them on alert on Monday, because it's okay. And they've done a good job. Don't get me wrong. When they have fumbled during the season, they've always come back the next week and seem to correct their mistakes. But we are getting into the gladiator phase of the season. Gladiator phase, meaning we're going into the playoffs. It's life or death. Every game is life or death. You're not going to have the luxury of being able to adjust from the brain fart from the previous game, because you might not get another chance the next week to make an adjustment. So you're going to have to come out prepared. And if you are somehow out-coached, or they come up with something that you're not expecting in the first half, your adjustments have to be quick and swift, and we cannot afford for them to be over the next 7 days. They have to be within the 15 minutes of halftime so that we can go on and win this game. So
That's
that's
right.
where my biggest concern is with the coaching staff. I love the job that they've done during the regular season. I'm not taking anything away from them. I don't want to shit on them in that manner and disrespect them because they did get this team to 13-1. So that has to count for something.
For
But
sure.
their experience is really going to be on display come the next few weeks. It's starting with this week, actually.
Yeah.
We can't afford to lose this game. We
No.
can't lose this game.
No. Listen, our family here is calling for our first shot. I see you sipping on your Corona.
All right, yeah. Let me. I was trying to wait
First
for
person
Pat to
ever.
come
I
back,
know, and
but Pat is
I
not
got the
back.
Patron Cafe in my car. Listen, I just got off a work call, so this is as much as you getting out of me right now. A little
All right,
shot in my coffee.
I'm seeing people on YouTube. I'm thanking you guys for following this on YouTube. Let
Like,
me just
share, and
start.
subscribe. Hit the
Yes,
subscribe
like,
button,
share,
like, and
and
share
subscribe.
while you're on Facebook and YouTube. Like,
I'm
share,
missing
and
all
subscribe.
the photo ops. My brothers are taking photos. I'm here at the table. But anyway, all right, here we go. So the first person in the room, we thank you guys because you guys are our fourth co-host on Eagles Talk. We like to include you guys in the conversation. We thank you guys for the support. And the first person in the room tonight is Dion. What's up? Dion says, "Win the game, damn it." I'm with that, Dion. I'm 100% in agreement with that. Lois Jones says, "Show up or else." Hey, Eagles fans, yes, it's do or die. I mean, it's
What's
not
up, Cosmos?
it's not end all be all. I mean, we don't get bounced out the playoffs if we don't win, but it is a big game. E Cosmos on YouTube, thank you for following us. He says, "What's good, Eagles family? What's good, man? Thank you for following us and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so." Kyle O'Brien's in the house. He says, "What's up, fam? What's up, Kyle?"
Mhm.
Me and Kyle kind of think alike. I like to see you when Kyle's in the
What up,
comments.
Ed?
Ed is in the house. He says, "Hey, now, good evening, everyone. Still optimistic after the last 2 weeks. Remember, Jalen is still 13-1, and
Talk
that's a
about
real,
it.
real important part of the story that we have to remember. Jalen is 13-1. The Eagles might be 13-3, but Jalen is 13-1. That's all I know. That's all I know.
He's
Jalen is
him.
13-1.
He is
So
him.
we need him to continue his winning ways. We need him to go 14-1, and then I need to see him. I really do need to see him put on a dominant display or close to the level that he left before he got injured for me to feel really, really good about going into the playoffs. And I already, without even seeing the game, I anticipate that he's that type of person that puts in that work ethic and he has that that mentality, that Mamba mentality, that it's not going to be much of a drop off. If anything, maybe a little rust early on, but I'm confident that he is going to play up to the same level that he played before before we last saw him. All right, so that's enough of introducing everybody. Pat is not back yet, so I know everybody's the regular on this show is waiting for what we do and what we do best, and that's talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So yes, I'm going to be doing all 4 shots this day here because I'm not only celebrating our Eagles, but I'm here with my fraternity brothers here of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and we are celebrating Founders Day. So I'm with my brothers here, so I'm going to start the party off on Eagles Talk and then continue it after we go off the air. So here we are. Everybody out there, please join us. Let's raise a glass. I am doing the Casamigos Resposado. Michelle is already showing you she's doing the Patron Cafe. Pat would probably be doing the Jameson if he was in the picture, but we're waiting for him. I see you, JT, over there on YouTube. I'm giving you a shout out. All right, so here we go. Everybody, please, let's raise a glass in honor of our Philadelphia Eagles, 13-3 Philadelphia Eagles, and down the hatch, 3, 2, 1. I forgot Pat has the soundboard.
Oh, Steph's still stressing, huh? you still recovering, Missus?
She's still recovering from New Year's. Wow,
4
that must
days.
have been one hell of a
Your
New
bounce
Year.
back ain't what it was when y'all was younger. They catching up, Dante. They catching
I
up
know
to
they
us.
catching up. All right, so let's continue this conversation. Right, we are facing the New York Giants, who for all intents and purposes, don't have anything to gain from this game on Sunday. Some reports are that they may not play their starters. I don't care. It really doesn't matter to me. Even if they play their starters, we have a team that is talented enough to beat the crap out of them. All right, so it doesn't matter to me who plays on Sunday or not. Whoever steps on that field wearing blue and red needs to get smacked down by our Philadelphia Eagles, because we need to go into the playoffs, and we need to go into the playoffs with the right mentality and to get that nasty taste out of our mouth. So I don't care if they start the valet service. I don't care if they start the training staff. Whoever steps on that field on Sunday needs to get the smackdown, and we need to feel good about ourselves going into the playoffs.
We do. Somebody mentioned adversity. Dwight. Shout out to Dwight. Adversity builds championship. It does. How do we overcome our injuries and some of these coaching brain farts, as you say? These are the times it's going to show and prove. Can we pull it out this week and have a strong showing, and then get ready for the playoffs? I think we could use this bye week personally, because our coaches are so green. I think they need a little bit more extra preparation time. So I think they're up for the challenge. One thing, I do have faith in them to be up for the challenge. It's just sometimes their decision making is what's questionable at the wrong times, and Gannon, who won't get off his zone, but I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. But I definitely think that our team, our talent precedes our coaching. Our talent definitely is leaps and bounds ahead of our coaching. Imagine what a veteran coaching squad would do with this talent. So I think we're up for the challenge, and I'm excited about what's to come and seeing us make a playoff run.
Yeah, I think that to piggyback, I brought it up, but we talked about this. We talked about this at the beginning of the season, right? It hadn't reared its ugly head up until lately, but we talked about when Howie was constructing this roster, and we were so excited about the talent that he had assembled on this roster. I think one of our talking points and one of our concerns, or somebody said that our talent may exceed the coaching level or the talent level of the coaches that's coaching this talent, right? Our coaching, our players' playing talent may exceed our coaches' coaching talent.
Yep.
And we saw it for the first time against the Saints, because there was a display of our coaches showing how green they were. I mean, it was unexpected to me after seeing what they went through in the regular season, after seeing them coach this team to a 13-1 record, after seeing them go through adversity, what little adversity we had during the regular season, overcoming it, making the necessary adjustments. It was kind of surprising for me to see how badly they dropped the ball, especially on the offensive side on Sunday against a team as porous as the New Orleans Saints. That was It was shocking to me. It was.
It definitely was. Everybody's talking about AJ Brown. Yeah, he had his frustrations. Some folks were saying that, did he or did he not throw Minshew under the bus? But I really don't care about all that. I need him to step up his game too. I get that he may have missed a call or he didn't turn back and look at him. He used to having Jalen in there, but now you got to get used to Minshew, and you got to pick up the slack because you have a backup quarterback in there. Come on, lead him. When you're in a huddle, tell him, don't forget to look back at me. I think AJ could have been more of a leader in that role too, instead of just getting frustrated. But that's just me.
Oh, I talked about that on Monday. I didn't like that. I didn't like as soon as our team faced some adversity, the so-called leaders on this team did not respond in the way that I expected. The previous week, it was Darius Slay emphatically stating that it was not his fault. To me, that was a little bit of finger pointing there. But If that wasn't considered finger pointing, AJ's statement definitely was finger pointing, and I'm okay. He didn't say anything that wasn't true. I just didn't think that he handled that situation the way it should have been
No,
handled. I
they
think that should
both
have been
both
in-house.
him and Slay were a little whiny with that, so that was
Yeah,
a little disappointing characteristic that I didn't really like to see. But you can't whine and pout when things don't go your way. You got to buck up and be like Jalen. The rent is due every day. Keep it cool, calm, and collective. You keep that mess in the locker room. You say what you got to say. You check each other on the sidelines or in the huddle, and you keep this train moving. But you got to communicate with each other. You can't just get frustrated and walk to the sideline and not talk. Like AJ and Minshew should have been tied at the hips if there was any miscommunication. That's when you talk to each other more. Follow him
right.
down the sideline. All three of y'all should be huddling every time defense was out there. You know what I mean?
And not only that, but let's not do it in public. I mean, let's take a page out of. It's a lot of Sometimes I listen to Sirianni's press conference, and he's been getting by because we've been winning so much. But he doesn't give you a lot in the press
Right.
conference. But I do get this out of it. He never throws a player under the bus. If anything, he'll fall on the sword. He'll fall on the sword for them, and
Mm-hmm.
he'll blame it on himself. And we all know it's not his fault. You know what I mean? But he does that for, I think, the morale of the team. And I think that the leaders of the team, the players I'm talking about, should take a page from that book. And maybe AJ, even if it's not your fault, fall on the sword. Yeah, I probably
Mm-hmm.
could have ran a little harder. We know that it was a bad pass. We know that.
He
Uh,
wasn't paying attention that the
yeah, that he
DB
wasn't
called it
paying
out.
attention. That Lattimore was laying on that. He had seen it earlier, and he was drooling when he saw this same formation and knew how weak Minshew's arm was. He was salivating. He was
Mm-hmm.
salivating, and
Mm-hmm.
then he actually threw it. Oh,
Right.
his eyes
And,
lit
and
up.
the fact that them plays are so vanilla and so easy to memorize. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. All right. Are you back, Pat?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we hear
can.
you.
How you doing? You still off the sauce too?
Yeah, I haven't had a drink since
Wow,
New
we were just
Year's.
talking about that. We said their New Year's celebration must have been so awesome. If they're
Lit.
still on the wagon on Thursday,
No,
and
it's sober
these are the
January,
young
man. It's sober January.
oh, okay, that's right. That's right. It is
Mm-hmm.
sober January, and I will be partaking in sobriety January also. That's the end of the first quarter. I'll be partaking in that
Right.
after
And
I meet
that's the end of the quarter.
with our resident follower from down under on next Monday.
Right? You not
Have a
you
couple
are
shots.
you
I'm going to
coming,
meet with
Pat?
Tony Burren from
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll
Australia,
be there.
and after I celebrate with him and bust it up with him, then I'm going back on my 90-day thing. All right, so that's the end of the
What
quarter. So
what time what time is it Monday?
um, well, I'm gonna get there around 4:30. He wants to get there for the Marks and Reese show, and
That's right.
then go into the BG show and then the Players Lounge. So I'm going to try to hang around for all three shows, but I'm not going to be there for the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
the Ike and Reese show. I'll get there, you know, after midpoint or whatever, and then I'll hang out with him. I'll hang out with him for the rest of the shows.
Right.
So I'm going to meet him then, and then I'll go on my sobriety. But anyway, Pat, you missed the first quarter. You missed the first quarter shot, but that's okay because you can catch up in the second quarter. All right. You had the
Sure.
soundboard too, so we had no sound in the first quarter. So anyway, you guys are listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I am doubly celebrating here. I'm celebrating our Philadelphia Eagles. Even though we lost, I'm still celebrating them because I'm a diehard and I'm a homer. But I'm also celebrating Founders Day for the best fraternity in the world, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We are enjoying and celebrating 112 years of existence. It's really longer than that, but on the books it's 112 years. So I'm here with my fraternity brothers. The Noops are in the house, and I'm doing a double celebration. So everybody out there, you know the drill. Raise your glass. I'm doing the Casamigos Reposado. Michelle is doing the
And my coffee.
coffee, the Patron Cafe, and Pat, for the first time, is doing the Ocean Spray.
Let
Ocean
let's
Spray.
let's toast to Damar Hamlin, who is awake.
Yes. Also, let's.
God is good.
I'm going to
Won't he
bring that
do
up
it?
right after this. All right, here we go. So, prayers up for Hamlin. All right, and down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
All right, so we listened to the second quarter. Something really, really bigger than football happened on Monday night. If you guys haven't heard, if you guys have been sleeping under a rock, a player, Damar Hamlin, safety for the Buffalo Bills, suffered cardiac arrest in the game on Monday night, and he collapsed to the field. He had to be resuscitated on the field and then rushed to a nearby hospital, where he was resuscitated a second time at the hospital. It was a very, very scary situation that went on Monday night. It happened at 8:55. I turned the game on at 8:57, and the first thing I saw was no game. And that kind of surprised me. And then shortly thereafter, I heard about what they knew at the time, because they didn't know a lot. I mean, we see injuries on the field all the time, but this was the first time where, at least that I can recall, that it was a
Everything
life death
stopped.
situation. Yeah,
It was, and you could see it on their faces. Like
Yes.
everybody was just shook and distraught by what was going on. You know what I
And-
mean?
and it was very scary. I felt the gravity of the situation just by watching the program and watching the reactions of the players on the field. And immediately my prayers and my thoughts went out to that young man. And another frat brother of mine, Ryan Clark, was so eloquent in describing just what those players were going through. And I remember one line that he used specifically, and he said he called up Ragu. Ragu, I forget what's Ragu's name. Well, Ragu on ESPN.
Swagoo.
Swagoo. He called up Swagoo, and he said he was talking to Swagoo, and he said, "Yo, at 24 years old, I didn't even think I could die." And that was one of the most realest comments that I heard. And it is so true. At 24, if you can remember, or if you're at that age, that's the last thing on your mind. You don't even know. I mean, you know, because it's nature, anything can happen, but you don't even think that you can possibly die at that age. And here this young man was battling for his life. Now, since then, he's had remarkable progress. He's not out of the woods yet, but he's doing a lot better than what he was on Monday night. So continue to pray for that young man, and our hearts go out to him and his family and his teammates and the other team.
Everybody that was there to witness
Yes.
that, that tragedy, that's a lot to process. It's a lot to process for the players around the league that just watch. You got to realize how young some of these men are. They're all young, they could be my son, out there watching, basically your teammate flatline. That's a lot to process, and then to try and get back on the field. So they have canceled that game, but they haven't said what they're going to do with the playoff arrangement with that.
They still haven't figured
Just to
that
talk
out.
about that for a perspective, from a player's perspective, me and my brother, we didn't play on that pro level, but we did play for a little bit of time. You're right. When I turned the game on, when I got to where I was to turn the game on, the game stopped. Everybody was sitting around there talking about players crying. I'm like, did somebody break their leg? Did somebody break their neck? I didn't understand the gravity of what was going on at the time. But once I found out what was going on, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because it brought me back to the time, when I had friends that I went to battle with on the football field go down with injuries. They say you talk to multiple outlets, you have a lot of players on there, in that locker room is brotherhood, and you have a bond. Like that's your brother there. They say all the time, "I go to war for you." We know we gonna fight this. We gonna fight this till we die. Not necessarily like you said, Dante. Not realizing that that is a small consequence of this game. You can permanently get damaged playing this game, and it does put things in perspective that this is it definitely bigger than a game. It puts more things in perspective to this, that this young man is not even fully vested yet as an NFL player. What is his long term care? I mean, I'm understanding that he's back. He's writing down. He's communicating. There's no neurological damage as they can see as of right now, which is awesome, which is great, and it's a long road to recovery, and we'll continue to pray for him. But what would the NFL start to what needs to change in this league is for once these players come in the league, these players need to get lifetime, long time health care. I mean, this league itself generates billions, almost close to $1 trillion a year. They
Mhm.
have enough money flowing in from TV revenue. I'm not talking about owners, TV revenue itself to pay health care for every single player that has stepped foot on that field for life. They need to take a look at themselves in the mirror with this situation and say, we need to come up with some better bylaws for our players. If you really serious about safeguarding the players, and I hope this brings to light what this league needs to do for these players. And we will continue to play for this young man, and I hope he makes a full recovery. And one more thing before I let you go with Dante, and I'm gonna say this with all my chest. Fuck you, Stephen A.
Stephen A.
Or
No,
Skip.
Skip Bayless.
Oh,
Sorry.
Skip.
I was like,
I'm about to
I
say
think he
Stephen
got
A. What
Skip.
Stephen A. do? I done
He
missed
ain't
it.
do nothing.
No.
Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
All right.
If I could imitate Shannon Sharp, Skip. Fuck you,
Yeah.
Skip. How you gonna talk about this man like that, Skip? I don't understand. I know that Shannon didn't show up for work on Monday. He was that upset. Skip's tweet was so insensitive. It and I know he's a shock jock, so to speak, but that was just stupid.
It was.
Stupid. And for him not to receive any type of reprimand or a consequence for that is a travesty, and it shows you the imbalance when it comes to certain people in certain situations. Because if that shoe was on the other foot, if that was Shannon, it would be a totally different handled situation. And I'm just upset that Fox did nothing. As far as I've heard thus far, they've done nothing to reprimand that man for that reckless statement and the insensitivity that he showed in that situation right there. Now, on the flip side of that, kudos to ESPN for their coverage of that.
Amen.
They did an excellent job,
Mhm.
and especially Lisa Salters.
She
Shout out
did.
to her.
She held
being
it
up
together
there.
because
held
she
it
had the
down.
lump in her throat. She made me come to tears just
Yeah.
by her trying to hold it together. You know what I
And-
mean? Like
and
that
her
could be my little
description-
brother.
Her description was pure poetic, capturing the energy and the atmosphere of what was going down there on the field. Also, shout out to my frat brother Ryan Clark for being so articulate in describing and laying out what the players and what that situation must feel like to players of the game of football. So ESPN, they get a thumbs up from me for
I
that.
got the
that
one in
whole
there too.
coverage
Shout out to Dan
and everything.
Orlovsky.
Yeah.
I'll even give a shout out to the NFL for canceling the game. It was the right thing to do. I'm not even blaming them for how long it took, because that's a situation we've never experienced that. We've never experienced that. I mean, we've experienced stoppages of games because of injury, but not one that has been as as dire as that situation there. We didn't know that I've never seen a situation where a player was a life and death situation on the
Yeah,
field.
no, we've
Normally,
seen catastrophic
yeah,
injuries.
we've seen
They
catastrophic.
passed out, they were knocked out, a bone came out the skin. We're used to all of those things. We're not used to somebody flatlining on the field and taking 9 minutes to resuscitate.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, one of my teammates broke his neck, so that's the closest that I've seen. I actually had when I was playing little league. I actually had a situation where I was partly
Mhm.
paralyzed for at least they say about 1.2 seconds when we had a football drill in the rain. Uh, but to I didn't have to get resuscitated. I still remember everything that happened. We was playing. We was doing this drill that turns more basketball players from football teams into from the football team. We came, he handed the ball off to the running back. I came, it was just me and him one on one. We met. I slipped forward. My head went straight into his gut, and literally for 1.2 seconds, I was gone. I couldn't feel anything. I start feeling the raindrops hit my face, and I started hearing everybody else talk, and they all I heard was fumble, and I moved. So that's the closest I have. When they say how he died on the field, I don't know. I don't know that feeling, but I can tell you from personal experience that it feels. If anything, I pray for this young man that he don't have to go through much on as far as recovery wise.
Mhm.
Just maybe a month or two, and he's back on his feet. Because football does something to somebody. It does something to us. It makes you feel like you're a Superman. It makes you feel like you're unbreakable until it actually physically happens. And when it physically happens, the question goes out to why me? Why not you? Because you're may become the vessel to change things going forward.
Mhm.
That situation with me actually changed what we did in little league football as far as tackling. And
Yep.
I hope this changes the NFL stance on player safety and how quickly we need to make sure they're good on the field.
Safety, healthcare, care afterwards, all of that, for sure.
Yes.
Amen to that.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, that's the end of the second quarter. Thank you guys for joining us. You are tuned in to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around us by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm doing double duty here. I am celebrating the Philadelphia Eagles. Our 13-3 Philadelphia Eagles are still, I still consider them. Well, I'm not as strong. I don't have the strongest feeling as I did prior to the Saints game as I did, but I still feel that this is a top team in the NFL. So I'm still celebrating that, and I'm celebrating that with all my frat brothers, all my brothers from the area as we celebrate our 112th Founders Day here, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I say yo to the Newts, and here we go. I'm doing the Casamigos Resposado tequila. Pat is doing nothing because he wrecked himself on New Year's Eve. I don't know.
Tickety,
I
check
mean, it was
yourself
so.
before you wreck yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was bad until
Mhm.
Miss Sandlin was like, "I'm not drinking."
Mhm.
Then I knew it was bad. Like, damn, what the hell happened?
Yeah, when she said, well,
When
we're done, that means
Yeah,
the
when she
house
said
is
I'm done,
done.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, what happened? All right,
Yeah.
and the chef is doing the um, Patron Cafe. So here we are, our Philadelphia Eagles down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
I just want to I know some people are saying, yes, we know this happened in basketball. I remember when Marcus Camby fell out, but thank God he didn't die. But we know these things happen in basketball, but we're just talking about specifically the sport of football at a game that's televised around the world.
Oh,
Um,
Well, I've had that same
You
situation
know,
where I
this
blacked.
wasn't practice. This wasn't, we know
Yeah,
people have heat exhaustion has taken out players all the way from the little league to the
Yeah, it's
college to the
nationally
pro level.
televised. Yeah,
We under that has gone on for years prior to this decade. We know those things have happened. We know those things are possible to happen. But yeah, this was a different scenario because the whole world was watching
hmm
at
well,
the time.
I've had that experience similar to Pat, where I've blacked out and only and I can remember anything. Only thing I can remember was before blacking out, the opposing player was talking smack, right? And then after that, I don't recall much, but as they were bringing me back to consciousness, I looked up at the scoreboard and I had dropped like 45. What happened is I blacked out for this motherfucker. I blacked out. He started talking shit and I blacked out. When I came back to my consciousness, I had dropped 45 on this dude. If you run into him
I took it
today,
serious.
Me
he will
too.
still
Me
tell
too. I
you.
thought he was going to tell a story, and
He
here
was
he
still
go. How
to
many?
the
He was
day,
at
if you run into this guy, he would say, "All I remember is I was talking shit to this dude, and out of
and he
nowhere, he
blacked
just
out on me.
I
He
blacked
blacked
out on
out
him."
on him.
But when I came back, they resuscitated me on the court. They brought me back. Because I had flatlined and everything. I gave him everything I had. I flatlined. They
Done with you.
resuscitated me. I went back. I came back. 45 on the books. All right. So, but that was an all good situation. But we're still praying for my brother, and I
Yeah,
hope that brother Hamlin returns to full strength. That's what I really do pray and hope
definitely,
for.
definitely.
I'm happy if he just returns to living, but I want more for him than that. I want him to return to his full faculties and his full state of health.
He did
So,
ask who won the game, so his
oh,
faculties are
we won
there.
the game. We won
It's
the
And
game.
the
now
doctor
we're
said
praying
you
for the
did.
L. He's like you won the game of life, bruh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
I got a question for you guys. I know this is a tough subject, and I don't know if you talked about it or not. But did we mention the Eagles' defense or offense? Anything?
No, we did
We
talk
talk
about the
we
defense. We
offense.
talked about everything. I mean, but we did it in you can talk there's more
No, we're
room
not.
to be
No,
discussed. We're
yeah,
not done.
we have a lot of runway. So we
Yeah, we
talked
still have
about
a
the
lot of
So
offense,
space.
and we gave it with 50-50 blame,
Yeah, we gave
50%
50-50
Minshew,
blame to the
50% the
coach
coach.
and the quarterback. Um,
Right,
we kind of let the defense off the hook,
because they
although
only allowed 13 points.
that first drive, I mean, was horrendous.
Was
well,
garbage.
like we said this many times. We have the talent, and a lot of times what happens, the talent outplays the coach. All right,
We
the
said
coach
that.
don't put the players into position. The talent that we have on this defense and on this offense normally takes over when those situations aren't right. When we talked about last week when we played the Cowgirls, right? It had that going for what 22 for 22 when we played zone or something like that. I mean, it
Right.
was the same. It was the same freaking thing. Uh, Andy Dalton looked like Joe Montana out there going at what 14 for 14 against our zone on that first drive was 9 minutes.
Hmm.
Listen, I understand our defense only gave up 13 points, and I could appreciate that. Our defense got after the quarterback after they realized the game is on them, right? But for our defense wins championships. You can't let a lesser team, and I'm talking strictly to JG. You cannot let a lesser team up by any chance whatsoever. If you
Hmm.
have these guys and you know they only have one receiver, it should be man across the board. You should be blitzing all 9 men and say, go ahead, do what you're going to do.
All right, let me go to some comments out there. Jeremiah is calling me on the carpet. He said, "Now, Dante, if you can't say what you want, bring in Dark Knight because that's not what you really want to say." All right, I have to keep that in mind. Eddie says Skip's tweet was not insensitive; it was poorly timed and reckless given the moment. When I read, it was like, really, Skip, not the time,
Well,
bruh,
being
not the
reckless is
time.
being
Yeah,
insensitive.
that's
That's
still
that's
being
basically
reckless.
what it
Yeah,
boils down to. If you're
basically,
reckless, or if you're not thinking, if you're not conscious, that's being insensitive.
that's being insensitive. Yeah,
He was
and
reckless with, and I can see how you could read it and say it was worded wrong. It was but you know what? That's the time where you take an extra 2 minutes and
Listen.
read what you wrote a couple times before you put it, and even pass it to the PR person.
Mhm.
Hey, this is what I want to tweet about. This is sensitive. What do you think? No, you didn't do that.
All you had to do
So
is
no,
put
it was totally
three hands like
insensitive.
this up. That's all you had to do is put three
Yeah.
hands like
Oh
this
yeah.
up.
That's all.
Yeah. He didn't have
That's
to say
all.
anything. That's the thing.
They had to say nothing. Truly, because it spoke for itself. The situation
Yeah.
spoke for itself. It didn't need words to go with it. I mean, as an analyst and as people on TV, yes, you have to talk about it. But in that moment, it doesn't need your real input
Right.
into
You
it.
weren't the only TV personality that talked about it. So, they understood the assignment. He didn't understand the assignment.
Yeah.
No, he did not understand the assignment. And look, Ed Clinton
So
says
I'm
Skip
not
is
making
110 years
exactly
old.
no
He's
excuses
been
for him
around long enough to know
to
better.
know better.
And you're right. You're right. He has been around long enough to know better. And how good? I mean, what the hell are their ratings looking like when there's this long of a pause between addressing what he did on Twitter? I mean, is he?
It was
is
crappy.
He like,
I tell you that the show right back after
is
that.
he the Stephen A. of Fox? Is he the Stephen A. of Fox?
No, they got
No.
people on there. It's like, but you
No.
tuned into that show and you saw how he was trying to choke himself up. He was talking just like this.
Because they
Like,
told
dude,
his ass, they
listen,
was like,
yo,
yo, you better
My
go out
tweet was
there.
insensitive.
and
Was
cry.
timed wrong.
He didn't
And
even
you know what?
apologize. He was like, I'm
didn't.
sorry
Janet
if
came
you're
after him.
offended.
He said, "No, I am not backing down." I got.
He was
command
on thin
Shannon
ice 2
because
weeks
I don't
before
would
this
jump
watch
over the
the
table.
program
incident, so
anyway, and I
I
probably will never watch it. And I love Shannon too, but
I
I
watch
don't
his
watch
own
it.
stuff, his own
I don't
content.
watch
I don't
it
watch
because
that
Yeah,
of
he's
stuff.
going to a podcast. He's definitely going to be leaving that show shortly because it's a culmination of Skip Bayless disrespecting Shannon Sharp, especially
Hold on,
when
hold on. Let me
Shannon.
stop.
Look at
Let me
Kyle.
stop and pros.
You know who
Kyle
else should
says,
know better?
you know who else should know better? Gannon dropping back
Get
our
him,
best
y'all.
pass rusher against Olave. Yes, you're right. That's why I
Yo.
like Kyle. Kyle brings the heat. But let me take a moment out here and ask Tony. Tony, how is your trip so far to the U.S. and to Philly in particular? I know you're supposed to be down in Florida right now. Where are you, and how is the trip thus far? Let me know in the comments. I'll read them live on air. But Tony Barron, our resident from down under, is in America. He's brought his son here on a trip of a lifetime, done all kind of tours. I'm sorry, they started singing
They
to him.
did.
I'm sorry.
I know they singing your song.
All right. That's
Oh, you
us.
gotta go sing. Go ahead, go and sing. We got it.
You
Go ahead,
could
go
have got him
sing.
this
Get up there,
stuff.
go and
Like
sing,
you
man.
can hit mute and go sing. You know.
Oh my goodness.
J5 Live,
Yo,
y'all.
all right,
J5
okay.
Live.
All right.
Shout out to Chris Sims. We made him eat his words.
Jayla
Oh,
made
yeah.
him eat his
Oh
words.
yeah, and
It was so bad that
and
he
Chris
cursed on
Sims
his
should not get.
podcast.
And then he still got an attitude about it. Like, what is these men love to just die on these hills of being wrong.
That was a thirst move.
It definitely was. It definitely
He was trying to get. I think he was trying to elicit an appearance on ESPN.
They're like,
because-
nah.
No, we passed, dude. You're still not worth it. You're still not worth it. Just suck it up, eat your words, and go back into the corner where you belong. Because you'll never be more, to me anyway, than what you are now. You'll never be as great as your father. So you keep saying stupid stuff, and
Ooh, he's like, you never be as great as
he's
your
an idiot.
father.
He's just an idiot to me. All right,
Can't
so
even walk in his daddy's shoes.
no, not at all. Shay said, BJ said Shay going before the summer.
Listen.
You think Shay will walk out? Shay made a statement on Monday. He said, "Fuck, I'm not coming in. I'm not going to be on there."
Look,
And this
he
comes
has a
on the
bigger.
heels.
He has a bigger more engaged following, securing interviews with Dion, his podcast, his own content that he puts out. Like he is a brand in himself if he wanted to just do his thing. You know
And
what I
I
mean?
think that's what
Fox
he tried
needs
to use
him
as
more
leverage.
than he needs Fox.
I think that's what he tried to leverage on Monday. He tried to leverage his popularity by not showing up for work on Monday, and nothing happened. And that comes on the heel of I saw an exchange between him and Skip on YouTube where Skip was disrespecting him, and then Shannon was calling him out like, "Dude, are you serious? Are you seriously going to
He
disrespect
was
me
already on thin
over
ice.
Tom Brady? Are you
Oh yeah,
seriously going to disrespect me personally over your defense of Tom Brady?" So I'm going to tune in and see what happens, but I'll never tune into the show. Never do
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
And
You know
I'll
what?
Rachel,
wait
you're
till
right.
it's
I
He's
in
a
watched
house.
the clip.
clown. He's a clown
I
talking
watch the
about get off
clips
my
comes
job.
to when it comes to that show, especially when it comes to Shannon Sharp, and see his takes because his stuff is legitly is straight down the road, even down the road, and he gives you the moment that you need to hear. When he talked about the Thibodeau,
You out, bro?
being
All right,
disrespectful
bro.
to
Thank
Nick
you for the
Foles
crook.
and being disrespectful to Jeff Saturday, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, who one day you wish to be like these guys, right? Nick Foles
Yeah.
won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles has more stuff in the Hall of Fame than you probably will ever have. Jeff Saturday has a Super Bowl and played with a Pro Bowl quarterback who probably he's going to the Hall of Fame himself. For a young player to be disrespectful to these players, it means something in that brotherhood, especially with those retired players. Now I don't know if he's going to play this week,
Hmm.
but sometime during this playoffs, they're going to disrespect that young man.
All right, James, you're right. James said, let's take a pause for the cause. James says, Dark Knight. Dark Knight. Dark Knight.
Can you
Dark
put the
Knight. That sounds
YouTube
right.
link
All
in the
right, Dark
chat,
Knight.
Pat?
Tell all of the YouTube users to log into Facebook and subscribe as well. You can have both streams open at the same time. This will get you higher ratings on YouTube. So, you guys, you heard it. Let me get the
Put the link in the chat.
I'm gonna put
And
the link in
Jackie,
the
you're
chat.
absolutely right. That is just why SAS dipped out on that
Yeah.
whole situation with Skip. He can't keep a partner. They want it for the ratings. They want that, him to have a quote unquote adversary, but Skip takes it too far. Nobody's putting up with that. The check ain't that long for them to continue to put up with that, to be
It's
honest
just
with you. And the level of disrespect from this old wrinkled man, they're just not doing it.
you're
No, they
100%
are
right.
not. They are not doing it. But I just put the link in the chat room so you can just click that link for my Facebook users. Click that link. You go right to the Eagles Talk page, hit subscribe, and everything will be fine. That's the end of the third quarter, guys.
And
So
that's the end of the quarter.
here we are, fourth quarter beginning. You are tuned in to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around us by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. We only do this. We're no different than you guys. We just like to include you guys in the conversation. When I thought of this program, I said, look, I want to talk about my favorite football team. And I don't want to do it. I'm not a professional analyst or anything like that. I just want to have a free, open conversation with other Eagle fans and give them some content and give them some courage and give them a platform in which they can voice their opinions also. So here we have Eagles Talk in our 7th year. So we're no different than you guys. By Eagles fans, for Eagles fans. But here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, and we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm out of shots. I only got 3 shots. I don't know why I didn't get 4. I only got 3 shots. So you guys get your shots up. I'm going to continue drinking my Corona
I'm gonna
here.
finish this last little bit.
We're going to continue to pray for Damar Hamlin, and I'm going to continue to celebrate with my brothers here at Cigar Sessions in Middletown, Delaware, where Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated is celebrating our 112th Founders Day here. right now. So, everybody, raise your glass to our Philadelphia Eagles. I'll raise mine to my fraternity, and let's celebrate. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
All right, listen to the fourth quarter. Now, getting back to the Eagles and how important this game is on Sunday. Like I said in the opening, I think this game is very important in the sense that we need to right this ship. We need to right this ship. We need to get this ship back on the right path, get the train back on the track, so to speak, and we can ill afford to go into the playoffs with that nasty taste that was left in our mouth after the New Orleans Saints game. We need to rectify or rectify the situation that happened on Sunday. So I don't care who takes the field on Sunday for the New York Giants. They need to get smacked down, and they need to get this smacked down convincingly, especially if our MVP candidate Jalen Hurts returns to the lineup on Sunday. We need that. We need that for the whole team. We need the whole team to feel that we are as superior as we were before the injury. So that's how important the game is to me on Sunday. I don't know how you guys feel.
I mean, Michelle.
We're gonna win. No, I mean, I think it's not gonna be a gimme. It is a division rival. I know there's speculation on Giants sitting players, not sitting players. Something tells me their coach wants to still try and win this game, but his front office may say otherwise. So, our path to winning would be slightly easier if they sat their starters, but we still have to have a path to winning. We need to use this game to work out our kinks and put in our best efforts and see how our coaches and our players respond to some of the holes and the gaps we have with some of our key players being out. So, this is going to be this is a good test for us. All them BS tests they had in the beginning of the season, they weren't tests. These are the tests. These 3 weeks are the real tests. So this is the time where, our coaches need to really buckle down, and our players, as talented as they are, they need to execute, and our star players need to execute on a higher level so we can really lock this in and make a run at this for the playoffs and get that bye week.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need to just go out there and play our football game, run the ball. I said at this game, I said we need to run the ball. I said that still intoxicated on Sunday. I said run the football. Don't throw the ball with guard and miss you, because the Saints have a better pass defense than they have run defense, right? So what do you do when you have a team that can't defend the run? You run the ball. It's the same thing this week.
They got too cute for me. They just got way too cute against the 23rd ranked run defense.
What we doing running RPO with guard and mission?
Ranked pass defense. They chose to pass the ball.
Hey, Dark Knight. Paris runs faster than guard and miss you. All right, that's my brother. So what they doing running an RPO with guard and mission? In all seriousness. I mean, I saw the brace on Miles Sanders. This may be a game where you sit him and you bring up Trey Sherman and you run Boston Scott, Trey Sherman, and Gainwell the whole freaking game.
Which we can do. We can do.
All right. You run it. You give A.J. Brown his 9 yards to break franchise record. You give Devontae his catches because he's going to make those catches because he's one of those elite receivers in the league. And Goddard, I don't know. I don't understand. Guard and miss you. You had Goddard for the whole game against that secondary, and you only threw the ball to him 4 times. No way in this earth should Dallas Goddard not receive the ball at least 7 or 8 times in a game against these guys, a smaller defensive back, if you're going to throw the ball like you did. But don't be cute this week. Come over there and just go and win the game. I feel as though these 3 weeks was a setup, right? These 3 weeks was a setup for us to be sweating, to second guess our team, to say, you know what are these guys doing? I think they purposely the league, and I say the league because this is entertainment at the end of the day. I think the league knew that this would happen, and they would win against the Giants and get that number 1 seed. That's my humble opinion.
All right, some
Agreed.
very interesting comments that have been popping up in the chat room, and I have one on the screen right now. Tony Burns says they ran the Hurts playbook with Minshew under center.
You don't
Yes,
do
and
that.
I think I pointed out on Monday the fact that they did not alter the offensive scheme to fit what Minshew does best. They just allow Minshew to run the same playbook that Hurts runs, and it can't be done like that.
Nope.
Minshew is not Hurts. Minshew does not have the same ability as Hurts. He doesn't make decisions the same. He doesn't have the same athletic ability. It was just a mistake not to tailor the offense towards what Minshew does best. That was a big brain fart in my eyes. And moving forward, I would like to say that I don't think Minshew will be back. His contract is up this year. He had a prime opportunity to show the rest of the league that he is a starting caliber quarterback in this league, and there are some jobs to be had because I always come to the New York Jets quarterback, although he's young and he may bounce back. I don't know, but there are a few quarterback positions around the league whose quarterbacks are average to below average, and he may be able to win a spot there. But after the performance of last game, I don't know if he's going to get that opportunity. But in the event that he does leave, we need to look for a backup that has more of the attributes of our starting quarterback so that we don't have to change the playbook as much. That would be an ideal situation for me. But we've seen with great offensive minds, that doesn't matter. All you want to do is bring in a talented backup quarterback because the genius offensive minds will design an offense that will work in their favor. We've seen that with Doug Peterson and Nick Foles when Wentz went down.
Yep.
They were two totally different quarterbacks, and Doug Peterson and Frank Reich changed that offense to fit Nick Foles and what he does best. So we've seen genius offensive brain trust, change the offense to fit the talent that they're coaching. We didn't see that on Sunday. So I don't know if Minshew will be back. Jackie says, I concur, Dante. Richard Booth says draft a quarterback out of UCLA.
And he says Dougie P would have switched it up. I agree, Richard Booth. At times like this is when I miss Dougie. Because imagine what he would have did with all these weapons.
Yeah. Like you got to go back to a traditional offense when you got a guy that's not mobile. I'm just saying. I'm being honest with you.
Not mobile, not making good decisions, not doing reads.
You got to get somebody to help freaking Jack Driscoll. No way in the world should he be one-on-one with one of the premier pass rushers, defensive ends in the league over the past decade. No way in the world he should be over there by himself. Shane Steichen has to be much smarter than that.
All right, Tony Burris says Carson Wentz might be looking for a new team
or the NFL.
we gonna make Wentz the backup. He couldn't. Please, he couldn't even stand in the heat before.
He said, "I don't want
any." And prayers up to Nick Foles. I hope his ribs are recovering after that dude did snow angels on him.
I don't want no coach. About Chip Kelly.
Listen.
All right, guys, this has been an hour. This is the end of Eagles Talk, man. We thank you guys so much.
Get going with the celebration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure is. Look at him. He's like, I'm ready to sing. I'm ready to stomp. You got your cane? You got your cane?
I'm like this, yo. Ready to jump in the double Dutch rope. Like, you just be waiting on the side. All right, yeah, I'm about to get out of here. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us on Eagles Talk. Upon further review, Eagles versus the Saints, a brief preview on the Eagles versus the New York Giants on Sunday. Big game for this team, as I said before. We need this game, and not only do we need it in a certain fashion. So I'm not just going to be happy just to get this game. I need this game to be delivered in a certain fashion. I need this win to be wrapped in a certain package. I need it to be wrapped in a package of us dominating whoever takes the field for the New York Giants. And if that's the reserves or the backups or whatever, then I really need to see a domination, especially if we have our MVP quarterback back for that game. We need to go into these playoffs and we need to go in and rinse that bad taste out of our mouths that we got this past weekend from the New Orleans Saints. We need to go in with freshly minted breath. We need to go into the playoffs with freshly minted breath and start our quest towards a Super Bowl because it's gladiator season. That means it's live or die. Live or die from now on. So you guys join us on Sunday, an hour before kickoff, 3:25 on Sunday. Philadelphia takes on the New York Giants in Philly. Eagles Talk pregame, 3:25, and immediately following the game at 7 o'clock. So join us then. I'm your man, Dante the Dark Knight. For my co-host, Pat and Nichelle, I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm about to party with the Nukes, yo. Take us out, Pat.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback crack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him, hit him, hit him.